All right, so are you ready to dig into some celebrity news today?
Always ready.
Okay, so we're going to unpack this whole thing with Jeremy Allen White, Carmy from
Sure.
The Bear,
Mm-hmm.
and his co-star Molly Gordon, who played Claire.
Okay.
So the internet is blowing up right now because they were just spotted together, and it seems like they're a couple.
Interesting.
And we've got excerpts from a People.com article, pictures included, and we're going to unpack all of it. So
Yeah.
is this the real deal? Are they actually dating? Or could it be a publicity thing?
Well, it's really interesting because this really taps into how much people love when they see people who have chemistry on screen and then they get together in real life. It's like this fantasy.
It's like, we want to believe it so badly.
Yes.
And this article does not disappoint. There are photos of them holding hands, kissing in the middle of L.A.
It's a very public display of affection.
Yeah. No attempt to hide it at all.
It really gives the impression that this is something that they're okay with people knowing about. And it's also interesting to note that this is happening right after the Emmy Awards, where The Bear won a bunch of awards and Jeremy Allen White won an award.
Ooh, you're right. Good catch. Do you think that's connected at all? Maybe they were feeling super good after the Emmys and decided to just, go for it?
Yeah, it's possible. The entertainment industry is all about strategy.
Right.
Timing is everything. And so this is something that will definitely keep The Bear on people's minds, even though the season just finished.
Okay, that's a really good point. But here's where I think it gets a little more interesting. The article also mentions that White's divorce from Addison Timlin was just finalized earlier this year.
Yeah. So it adds a whole other layer to it, doesn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
This isn't a situation where he was with someone and then met someone else on set. It seems like if this is real, this is like a whole new chapter for him.
And maybe a chapter that was influenced a little bit by his work on The Bear, right?
Yeah.
His character, Carmy and Gordon's character, Claire, had crazy chemistry on the show.
Yeah, they did.
But they actually broke up in the season finale.
That's true. Which makes you wonder if this is a case of life imitating art or if they're trying to rewrite their own story.
Oh, stop it. You're giving me chills. What if they were so good at portraying this, heartbreaking breakup that they needed to, fix it in real life?
Or maybe this is all just a big publicity stunt to get people talking.
Oh, man.
Won't they come back together for season 4, especially because Molly Gordon's character wasn't really in season 3 that much.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So it's they're giving the fans what they want, this Carmy and Claire reunion, but in a way that keeps everyone guessing and talking about The Bear.
Exactly. And it makes people want to dig into their personal lives, especially when they love the characters they play on screen.
That's so true. We love a good love story. But, okay, we also have to remember that there are, real feelings involved here.
Oh, absolutely.
The article quotes White from an older interview where he talks about how important his family is to him.
Yeah, it's really important to remember that because he said
yeah.
if you don't have anything outside of your career, it can be a really lonely life. And that makes me think that maybe after his divorce, he's looking for that stability again.
Oh, for sure. And maybe Molly Gordon is it.
Maybe. I mean, everyone wants to find that connection. It's something that we can all relate to. It doesn't matter if you're famous or not.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've got this whole on-set chemistry thing, this very public display of affection, a recent divorce. And then these comments from White about wanting to have a family.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. It's like a whole drama is unfolding.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack here.
Let's unpack this whole, being a celebrity in the age of social media thing. Because that's got to be tough, right?
Mm-hmm.
To, be in a relationship when anything you do could end up online. I mean, it's like having a camera on you 24/7, right?
Exactly. And it makes you wonder if it's even possible to have a real relationship when you're constantly being watched and judged by millions of people.
It's like, how can you just be yourself when everyone has an opinion about everything you do? Remember, Brad and Angelina?
So, yeah.
It's like the whole world was obsessed with them.
They couldn't do anything without it being on the cover of every magazine.
It's kind of sad in a way. They deserve to have some privacy, right?
Absolutely. Everyone deserves privacy. It's a basic human right.
Okay, but bring it back. Jeremy Allen White, the People.com article, mentions that he was briefly linked to Rosalia last year.
Rosalia the singer?
Yeah, Rosalia.
Interesting.
I know. It was like a little blip in the celebrity gossip world. They were seen together a few times, but it never seemed like a serious thing.
Right.
And if I'm remembering correctly, this was all happening before his divorce from Addison Timlin. Timlin was finalized.
You're right. It sounds like there was a lot going on in his life during that time, filming The Bear, going through a divorce, being linked to a huge pop star.
Talk about a whirlwind. I mean, it makes you wonder if maybe he was just trying to figure things out, exploring his options.
Or maybe it was a way to cope with everything else that was happening, a distraction from the stress.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Sometimes a little distraction is what you need when life gets crazy, even if you're a celebrity.
Exactly. Celebrities are just people, too. They have feelings, they go through tough times, they make mistakes.
So true. Okay, so we've got this whole Rosalia connection, which seems like it fizzled out.
Yeah.
And then, boom, a few months later, these pictures of him with Molly Gordon surface.
It does seem very sudden.
Right, it's like a classic Hollywood love story. Or maybe it's all part of the plan.
Well, the timing is certainly interesting, but without hearing it from them directly, it's impossible to know for sure.
Ugh, I know. We just have to accept that we may never have all the answers.
That's the thing about celebrity gossip. It's all speculation.
True. Okay, but let's put our thinking caps back on for a second. The article mentions that Molly Gordon wasn't really in the third season of The Bear that much.
You're right. She wasn't in it as much, but her character was in a few of the flashback scenes.
Yeah, and those scenes were so important for understanding what Carmi was going through.
Exactly. They gave a lot of context to his backstory and his relationship with his family.
Okay, but do you think those flashback scenes were filmed before or after this whole thing with White started?
Yeah.
Could it have affected how they acted together?
I don't know. The article doesn't say when those scenes were filmed.
Ugh, the suspense. But it's interesting to think about, right?
It is. It makes you wonder how much of their real-life chemistry bled into those scenes.
Okay, I'm putting rewatch those scenes on my to-do list right now.
Uh-huh.
But seriously, this whole thing makes you think about celebrity relationships in general. Like,
Yeah.
how do they even function in the age of social media?
It's a whole different ball game now. I mean, on the one hand, social media has given celebrities a way to connect directly with their fans, which is amazing. They can control their own narrative to a certain extent.
Totally. They don't always have to rely on the media to tell their story.
Exactly. But on the other hand, it also means that they're constantly under scrutiny.
Because everyone's a critic.
Right. Yeah, and everyone feels entitled to comment on their lives. It creates this environment where it's really hard to separate what's real and what's not.
And it's got to be hard to relax and just be yourself when you feel like the whole world is watching your every move. It's like living in a fishbowl.
It's definitely a double-edged sword.
So how does this all relate back to Jeremy Allen White and Molly Gordon? What does this tell us about their situation?
Well, it makes you wonder if they're trying to control the narrative by being so public with their affection.
Like maybe they're trying to get ahead of the paparazzi.
Exactly. Or maybe they're just not afraid to live their lives in the public eye.
It's like they're saying, we're doing this our way, whether you like it or not.
Right. It's a bold move.
So what you're saying is we may never know for sure if this is real or not.
I think it's important to be realistic. We're only getting a very small glimpse into their lives.
It's like we're looking at a puzzle, but we're missing half the pieces.
Exactly. We can speculate all we want, but at the end of the day, we just don't have the full picture.
But those photos, though, they looked really coupley. Like even if it was a PR stunt, they were really selling it.
And that's what makes this whole thing so fascinating. There's evidence to support both sides, Yeah. The pictures do look really genuine, like the way they're holding hands, the way he's looking at her. Body language experts would say those are hard things to fake.
Okay, so you're saying there's hope for my romantic heart because part of me really wants this to be real.
Yeah.
But then there's this other part of me that's like, come on, this is too perfect. It's too good to be true, especially with a new season of The Bear probably coming up.
I get it. It's like when you watch a really good movie. You want to believe it's real, even though you know it's not. And with celebrity relationships, it's even trickier because there's always that question of, are they doing this for the cameras or for themselves?
So how are we as like normal, non-famous people supposed to make sense of it all?
It's a good question. I think the key is to be aware that we're only getting a very limited perspective. We're seeing what they want us to see.
So basically, we're all just playing a big game of celebrity gossip clue.
Kind of. We're gathering clues, making deductions, but at the end of the day, we may never know the whole truth.
Which I guess is part of the fun, right?
Exactly. It's the mystery that keeps us coming back for more.
Well said. So maybe instead of trying to figure out if Jeremy Allen White and Molly Gordon are really in love, we should just appreciate the ride.
I like that. Embrace the unknown.
And who knows, maybe someday down the line, they'll write a tell-all book and finally reveal all the secrets.
Or maybe they'll take their secrets to the grave.
Ooh, even better. It'll be a story for the ages.
That's right. The mystery continues.
Well, on that note, I think we've officially reached the end of our deep dive.
It's been a pleasure analyzing all of this with you.
Always a good time. And to everyone listening, thanks for joining us on this wild ride. We'll see you next time for another deep dive into the world of celebrity gossip.